In five, four, three, two.
All right, welcome back to 106.7 The Fan. I am Dylan Flame alongside Steven, Price, and Ian. Today we're going to be talking about the AFC West, but first I want to give a big shout out to the best fast food place, our sponsor for today. It's Don's! Anyways, we'll start with you, Steven. Who do you think is going to win the AFC West?
I think the Chargers probably, they have the best all-around team, but I think the Raiders will win the AFC West. Derek Carr is a great, underrated quarterback. Not only that, they have one of the best receiving corps. Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller, and Devontae Adams. And also, Josh Jacobs is still a good running back. They have an okay defense. They should win the AFC West.
How about you, Price?
I think we're going to see the Chargers actually win the AFC West this year because I think Herbert is going to have an absolute amazing year. I could even see him winning MVP or Offensive Player of the Year. He is just an amazing quarterback. Of course, you have Keenan Allen. You have a great defense, too, with Derwin James and some other just amazing players. I think the Chiefs are going to take a step back, and I really think it's between the Raiders and the Chargers, and I really see Justin Herbert being an Offensive Player of the Year candidate, so I'm going to have to go with the Chargers.
How about you, Ian?
You see, when you say like the Chiefs are going to take a step back, I can agree with that. But how much of a step back are they actually going to take? Everyone's saying, "Oh, they lost Tyreek Hill, number one weapon. They're not going to be able to do anything." In my opinion, Patrick Mahomes really made Tyreek Hill what he is today. I think, if anything, Tyreek Hill is going to take more of a step back than the Chiefs are.
But he didn't make his 4.1 speed. Tyreek Hill is the fastest player in the NFL. He
But
didn't make
still,
that.
I would also say he's not even the fastest player in the NFL. You look at guys like John Ross, got drafted at number 10. He was an unbelievable prospect coming out of Washington and didn't have a good quarterback, so he did nothing. I think that the Chiefs still have a great overall team. Everyone's voicing concerns over their defense. I think L'Jarius Sneed is becoming one of the most underrated corners in the NFL. 2 straight in very, very good years. I think Tyrann Mathieu, the loss of that is extremely overrated. I think their safety group is going to be fine.
They still have Daniel Sorensen, who's a really good safety.
I don't know about really good, but I think Thornhill is going to have a much bigger role this year with the loss of Mathieu. I think Thornhill and Sorensen are going to prove to be a very good safety combination, and the linebacker core with Nick Bolton and Willie Gay is just going to only improve.
So what do you think their records is going to be this year? Are they going to lose any wins?
I think they might lose 1 or 2, but I think they're going to sit at the solid maybe 11 to 12 win mark, and I think that doesn't sound like a lot, like to win this stacked of a division, but I think teams like the Raiders and the Broncos are really being overrated. I think the Chargers are an extremely good team, but they've been able to beat the Chiefs in the past, but I don't think they're going to be able to do it this year. Really, I think the Chiefs are going to win the division. I think they're going to continue to do what they've proven to do.
I agree with Ian. I think the Chiefs are winning the division. They've won it 6 years in a row, and yes, they lost Tyreek Hill, but they have Patrick Mahomes, and they also gained Juju. When he's not making TikToks, he's actually a really good player. And also, out of the NFL,
when is the key word in that?
Out of the NFL draft, they got Sky Moore, who's an excellent prospect out of Western Michigan. A lot of people don't know who he is because he played at such a small college, but I watch a lot of mid-major college football, and I watched him play last year. He is excellent. He carried that offense single-handedly.
I don't think you can undervalue the importance of the addition of MVS, Marquise Valdes-Scantling.
He's a great deep threat.
Like, if he can fix his hands a little bit, he is an unbelievable deep threat, and no one is better at making deep threats good than Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. And he's a lot cheaper than Tyreek Hill.
He is a lot cheaper than Tyreek Hill. I signed him for about $10, $11 million per year for I think a 2-year deal.
I think the value of those 3 wide receivers they gained this year might be even greater than the impact of Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, well, we have to go back to the defense for a minute because the Chiefs' offense definitely has one of the best offenses in the league. But as you were saying, Willie Gay, Bolton, like their linebacking core, yes, they could be good down the road, but they're pretty young right now. Like, they're definitely young.
But we've seen young linebackers succeed,
Yeah,
Micah Parsons. Even Leighton Vander Esch is still really young on the Cowboys.
I think
they're still really
if Parsons didn't have as good of a year as he had, Bolton would be the number 1 linebacker from that class. I don't think it's really Parsons in a tier of his own, and then you have 2 tiers down is Bolton, and then a few tiers down is everyone else. I think he had an unbelievable rookie year, and really his tackling ability plus the speed and overall versatility of Willie Gay is going to be so good. I think their special teams is going to take a hit with the loss of linebacker Dorian O'Daniel.
I think they still have Dustin Hopkins.
They do have Dustin Hopkins. I'm saying more of a special teams in terms of coverage and tackling, I think the loss of Dorian O'Daniel could prove to be something that hurts them a little bit. But I think that really with him being phased out, I think Spagnuolo's always been good with his linebackers, and their corner room is just increasingly good. They also added Trent McDuffie, and I think McDuffie and Snead is going to be a great 1-2 punch on the outside.
All right, one more topic for you guys. Who do you guys think is the top 5 players in the AFC West? I'll start. At 1, I'm going to go the best quarterback in the NFL, Patrick Mahomes. At 2, another Chiefs offensive player. He's so consistent. One of the best tight ends to ever do it, Travis Kelce. Number 3, I'm going with another quarterback. It's Justin Herbert. And at 4, the most underrated edge rusher in the NFL, Max Crosby. And at 5, when he's on the field, he is the best safety in the NFL. It's Derwin James.
See, I don't understand how you can make that list and not include top 3 corner in the league, J.C. Jackson. I don't think you can say Max Crosby's a better player than J.C. Jackson. Crosby had a great year last year, but before that, he was meh. And Jackson has been a top 10, top 5, top 3 corner in every year he's played since he was an undrafted corner coming out of Maryland in 2018 in New England. There's a reason why he got paid so much money, and there's a reason why Crosby did as well, but there's J.C. Jackson is much better at both his position and makes a much bigger impact, especially with the turnovers and still not giving up a lot of yards, unlike some corners like Trayvon Diggs.
All right, but if you look at the impact Crosby has, the Raiders' defense last year was not great, but Crosby made it look good by himself. There's no other player on that defense last year that had anywhere near the impact of Crosby. And Crosby is just not viewed as that guy. But if you watch film or even just look at some highlights, you can tell that Crosby is a top edge rusher in the league.
Yeah, well, he may be a top edge rusher in the league, but just like one of your previous opinions on Cooper Kupp, we have to go with consistency over time. Max Crosby has had a really good season. He may have some really good seasons down the road, but J.C. Jackson, who's entered the league in 2018, has been the same relatively every year, a really solid player. So I would definitely put him in the top 5 over Max Crosby any day. And I think the rest of the top 5 is pretty great, honestly. I think that is pretty accurate. But adding Max Crosby to the top 5 after just one great season is just, you can't do that yet. Maybe after next year, but that would probably still even be a reach.
Yeah, I think going back to previously with the point about how Max Crosby made that defense look good, they had two absolute, really, really good corners in that secondary in Nate Hobbs and Casey Hayward. Yeah. Casey Hayward was both rated by PFF and just on the film, one of the best corners in the league last year. I'm not saying that either of them deserve to be top 5. I'm just saying that if you look at the Raiders' run defense and the pass rush, it was decent.
Yeah, it wasn't
but
great.
If you want to talk about making the defense look good, Hobbs and Hayward did that a lot more than Crosby did, and their loss, I think the loss of them two will be much bigger to that team than Crosby
And
would.
the other thing is Derek Carr. Where's Derek Carr?
Derek Carr.
Derek Carr's a top 5 player in the AFC West.
Well, if Derek Carr is a top 5 player, then I would like to offer up Austin Eckler, because I think
He gets hurt though.
He does get hurt, but when he's on the field, he's definitely a top 5 player. Very consistent running back on the field.
My memory might be deceiving me, but did anyone mention Devontae Adams? I don't remember his name being arguably the best receiver in the league being left out of the top 5. I think Mahomes. I would put Mahomes 1. I put Herbert at 2, but I think Devontae Adams is a clear number 3.
You'd put him at 3. I'd put
Do you
him ahead
think
of
Russell
Herbert.
Wilson's in this conversation still?
No, he's
I think
too
coming
old.
off of the year, I wouldn't say too old because Brady, Rodgers, they've showed us that really isn't a thing with quarterbacks nowadays. But I feel like coming off of an injury and really hasn't shown enough production in the second half of the year over the past few years, you can't put him in that conversation.
And plus, it's the Broncos. They have a great ability of making great players a lot worse than they actually are.
That is true. That is true.
And another thing, too, is Russell Wilson, a big part of his game is his mobility.
Yeah.
And Tom Brady, the reason he's lasted so long is he's one of the least mobile quarterbacks that the NFL has seen in a long time.
He's got the speed of a slug.
Yeah, over 1,000 career rushing yards, though.
Reasons why reasons like players like Lamar Jackson or Russell Wilson, or even going back like Michael Vick or Donovan McNabb, who
Go back to
use
Randall
more,
Cunningham.
and Randall Cunningham, who use more mobility as part of their game, they tend to